So yeah, it's part two. Camera cut off. I left off talking about Amar defeating the people in Dathin, and also a guy named Sergilius. I think he was sent as commander there to fight against the Muslims because, like I said, Heraclius had heard about this invasion beforehand. So anyway, he defeated the people there, and he wanted to head north to fight against the nobility of those of Gaza. But he had heard about a gathering of a Roman army that was basically in Arabah, or Arabah. I'm gonna say Arabah and Arabah, which is basically south of the Dead Sea today, the region of Arabah today. That's where they went and they fought. But he himself didn't go. He had somebody under him that he sent. It was a guy named Abu Umama As-Sudai. That's his name. He sent him there, and he fought against the people there, and they basically defeated them. Now, it was like six leaders that were there, and one of them got killed. And these are leaders who are on the side of the Romans, basically. So one leader got killed, the rest of them ran off, but they went north to a place called Adubaya. And Abu Umama went there and also caused bloodshed there as well. So far, all three major victories were victorious. Now, some of them, like, okay, in the chapter itself, not the Wikipedia articles, because most of my stuff came from the chapter itself. But in the chapter itself, they say, according to Al-Waqidi, there's another version that suggests that the Battle of Dathin never happened. That when they started to march northward from Medina, really the place is Al-Jurf, which is like 4.8 miles north of Medina. But when they started to march from there, according to this version of the story, the Battle of Dathin never happened. The first battle was supposedly Arabah. I personally believe the Battle of Dathin did happen because of those characters on the side of the Romans that were mentioned, such as Sergilius, and also as far as like the Battle of I forgot to mention this one. Yeah, this is another one. The Battle of it happened at I think it's called Ajnadain. Ajnadain. That happened as well. Now that little area is basically between Gaza and Arabah almost. Well, not really Arabah, because Arabah is more northward. But it's basically across from Gaza almost. As far as the map, I don't know the exact miles, but as far as the map, it's basically across from there. But yeah. So Heraclius had sent his brother, actually. Now this gets more personal. His brother, his name was Theodore Tritherius. So he went there to fight against the Muslims, but he lost also. And because he lost, it was a little argument that happened between him and the emperor took him off of his command. So that's what happened with that. So those are all the victories so far now. I think that's all as far as the chapter. Let me see what else. Khalid ibn al-Walid was on his way there. But as far as the chapter, when they got to Adubaya, that's pretty much all they said. So far they're victorious. Now this is surprising to me. Like I say, when I was going through the earlier portion of this book, I was like, man, I can't wait till they get to the Romans, because that's, based on the Romans themselves. We're not trying to hype them up. They will obviously be their biggest adversary to fight. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like watching a movie and you looking at the underdog going to get somebody that got like or like an entity that's more powerful than the underdog itself. So it creates a thrill. But this is like real life or history that happened back in the day with some exaggerations mixed with some of it, but that's fine. But this happened back in the day. That's fucking interesting. So I was like, damn, I can't wait till I get to that. So far, I'm looking at it like, okay, the Muslims are victorious. They won 3 to 4 major, I ain't gonna say major, but 3 to 4. They won all of the first few battles so far. And they're still trying to spread Islam. So it's gonna get more gory down the line. But that's basically everything that I read so far. I'm trying to think what else I need to touch on. What did I leave out? I'm trying to remember, did I mention everything in the first part of it so I don't have to redo a number 2? And I'm like, oh, damn, I forgot to bring this up. Well, I'll just say this. When I was doing my research, right, like I say, I already had wrote all the information from that book itself, the chapter itself. But I was like, okay, let me do my cross-referencing because of the names that be coming up. And I want in the chapter itself, they didn't mention they didn't mention any as far as this particular chapter, because like I say, they got other ones following this one. But in this one, they didn't mention Heraclius. So I'm like, okay, if they fighting against the Romans, I want to know who was the emperor of Rome at the time. So it brought me to Heraclius. I'm like, okay, all right. And he was the emperor for a little minute because like Muhammad, he started his revolution in 610. But that same year, that's when Heraclius became the emperor of Rome. And that was really through a uprising on his side. It was the emperor before him, his name was Emperor Focus. Focus. And he had ruled for a little short time also because he became the emperor in 602, but the rebellion popped off in 608. And by 610, he was taken off of the throne, and that's how Heraclius became the emperor. But like, you know, there's a little history even before that happened, at least since 602 when Emperor Focus became the head of the Roman Empire. They had issues with the Sassanids, and this occurred throughout Heraclius' whole entire fucking reign till they finally defeated them in 627, a battle that happened, and it was pushing them out of Western Asia based on these articles that I read. But when they lost this major battle, Khosrow II got assassinated by his own son, Kavad II. And so Kavad II, after that, decided to, you know, join in and create a peace treaty between them and the Romans. And they decided to leave all Roman provinces at the time. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a big ass little background. So he was kind of significant also. So I was like, I wanted to know about them, and they didn't mention them. So that's a little bit that I learned about him. Let me see who else. Theodore Tritherius. I mean, he comes up later on. I ain't want to really touch on him, but he gets put back into command to fight against the Muslims, I think in Syria this time, and it's possibly in Damascus. I think that's what it happened at, but I know for sure he was put back in command to fight against them. There's a lot of people that I couldn't mention who I read about ahead of time because I thought they was going to be mentioned in this part of the chapter, because I kind of went further, but I didn't remember exactly like everything that was in each particular chapter that I copied down. But there's a guy named Vahan who I think is going to be interesting, and he was some type of Armenian prince as well. So he going to become involved in this battle also. A few more people down the line, etc. But like I say, this is all still the Rashidun period. And even though I'm looking at it like, even though this is only like 632, after Abu Bakr dies, which is in this very year, and Umar becomes the caliph for 10 years, I'm pretty sure like, I want to say condensed, but I don't think it's going to take like 20 more chapters to get to Al-Walid, you know what I'm saying, who was the caliph from like 668, I think, 668 until 715.